Hey guys, it's John in Brooklyn. Welcome back to KC Farms. As our small channel continues to grow, we keep getting asked a lot of questions, and hopefully we've answered most of those. Today we're going to walk, talk, and show you some of those answers to the most frequently asked questions here at KC Farms. All right guys, so the first question, and we've been getting a lot and we've been shipping out a lot, is how do we get KC Farms merchandise? We just got the new Make the Change hats in. We have regular hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts. Brooklyn, how do they get their KC Farms gear?
You can text us on Facebook or message us on Instagram and we'll ship them right from the farm.
Yep, we don't have an online store or anything yet, but we do ship right from the farm. You can email us at kcfarmstn@gmail.com. Just reach out to us and we can get that shipped out to you. Brooke, we got like 4 or 5 turkeys out already. Let's go get these in. All right, well, the turkeys get out pretty much every day, which isn't an issue. They're pretty much easy to walk right back in. We'll just open up this fence down here. Brooklyn will walk them in and they can get on with their day. And we don't care if they get out, but if we're out here and we see that they're out, we'll put them back in. Calm down, Tom, they're coming. All right, everybody's in. On to the next question. All right, another question we get asked a lot is how many acres do you have? And some of you know, some of you don't, that my mother-in-law lives next door. We'll talk about our side first. We have 17 acres. Ours is kind of a long, skinny football field shape. We have very little trees. We may have like 1 or 2 up there in the corner. You can see the house up there. But we have 17 acres to use on our side. And my mother-in-law has 20 acres. Hers is over here, mostly wooded. You've seen a couple videos of us starting to clear out those woods so we can start using that land. But we are able to use that land, and that is a huge benefit for us. So we have 17, she has 20, so 37 total that we can use. All right, we're back here at the duck pond. We get asked this a lot. The first breed of ducks we purchased when we moved here were silver appleyard ducks, and we really liked those. But we no longer have appleyards. We get down here through this wet grass. All we have left now are our khaki Campbells. What happened to the appleyards?
We sold that flock. They were our older flock and they always came up to the house and would go in the garage and poop all over the place.
Yeah, so we got rid of that flock with feed costs going up, and they were older, and they were pooping all over our garage.
I think it might be because they used to live up there.
Yeah, they used to live up here, but they'd walk back here every night. They'd get back in their quack shack over here, so that quack shack is sitting empty, but that is what happened to the silver appleyards. Another group we get asked about is, where are the Bielefelders? Let's go check those out. All right, guys, here are our Bielefelders. Well, just kidding. These are our commercial brown layers. And Buck here, as Brooklyn calls him, is the only Bielefelder that we have left. And the reason we don't have the Bielefelders anymore, we did a video on it a while back, but it has been a while. They had stopped laying, and we weren't really sure why they stopped laying. Maybe we had stressed them out because we combined 2 flocks, or I'm not sure, but we sell a bunch of eggs and feed prices going up. If chickens aren't laying, we kind of need to move on from those breeds. So I did a bunch of videos about why they were the best dual purpose breed. And if you're looking for a dual purpose breed, I still think they are one of the best. Just not sure why our flock has stopped laying, and we may choose to raise those again, but we sell a bunch of eggs at markets, so we need our chickens to be laying eggs. So we went with the commercial chickens. Obviously, these are not a good dual purpose chicken because they're not very good with meat, but they lay a ton of eggs. So I still stand behind those videos and would recommend Bielefelders for you on your homestead if you're looking for a good dual purpose chicken. But that solves the mystery as to what happened to our Bielefelder chickens. All right, guys, next question. What are the purpose of the donkeys? Well, before we get into the purpose, yesterday we moved them over to this area here just outside the orchard. You can see they're up here in the shade, enjoying a little bit of pasture. So in about a month or two, we are gonna take these guys to the butcher.
You're lying.
Just kidding. Guys, the purpose of our donkeys are just for enjoyment. They're basically our pets. We do love them. Here's Marine, and then we've got Ethel, and they have all warmed up to us. We took them out for a walk the other day, and I was able to get them on halters without having to chase them down. So they're warming up to us. They are just farm pets. Some people ask about livestock donkeys, livestock guardians, but many donkeys are not good for that purpose. So they're just our pets, and we enjoy them. Let's go get a look at Leroy before we take off here. Leroy. Hey, bud. You enjoying this new spot back here? You don't have to leave. So guys, the donkeys are just for pets. We enjoy them. We enjoy hearing them bray. And it's fun just taking them on walks across the farm. So they're just pets. That's why we have them on the farm. Speaking of livestock guardians, we get a lot of questions about predators. Let's go back and address that question. All right, next question. Do we have coyotes? Yes, we do. Sometimes it sounds like they're right on the back porch. There's been many nights where we've taken the car or truck and drove down here, shining the lights, honking the horn. Never seen one at night. We've seen a few during the day, not necessarily on our property. But yes, we do have coyotes. We have a friend that traps our land, and he's got a couple right there at that cedar tree. So yes, there are predators out here. Speaking of that, we've got some pigs back here, and we do run Premier One fencing. That's another question. What type of fencing? We use the Premier One fencing, and it does a great job for us. My thought is if something was to come up here, yes, they could easily jump that, but I don't think they'd just charge it and jump it. I think they'd sniff around and then get popped by the fence and hopefully move on to some easier target. But we have lost some animals to predators. None of our larger animals. The pigs have never had issues with predators. We lost a whole flock of ducks to a possum. We've lost some baby chicks to some rats. But as far as a big loss or big animal loss, we haven't had any issues with coyotes or anything large like that. So I think the fencing does help. And all our poultry get locked up at night. That's Brooklyn and Isaiah's job. So as long as we maintain and stay on top of getting those locked up early enough, I think we are good. And the fencing definitely helps. Obviously, something could easily get over it, but I think it definitely helps keeping our animals safe. All right, guys, down here at the front of the property to answer our next question. Why do you raise Cornish cross? They're ugly, they have leg issues. Well, I guess some people think that. We haven't really had leg issues. Ugly, maybe. Yeah, they're not like your pretty egg-laying breeds. why are they not feathered out? Well, they don't fully feather out when it's warm because they are a very hot bird and they use all that feed to grow instead of grow feathers, so they get big. But we raise them because they get big so fast. We've raised the red rangers, we've raised red broilers, freedom rangers. We like the freedom rangers, but it's an extra month to get them to butcher weight. And so while we can, we're going to keep raising Cornish cross. 8 weeks and they are ready to be butchered, and it is a lot of meat on a chicken. So that is why we raise the Cornish cross, not for their looks. If we are out here keeping them moving, obviously they eat and they sit a lot, but when we move them to fresh spots, they're always picking like a chicken, getting bugs and other things, eating some grass. And so that is why we choose to raise the Cornish cross. So one thing I did want to show you guys is this bar back here. Brooklyn was talking about putting an axle through the tires and having brooms on it, so the brooms would spin and scare the chickens when we move them, because sometimes when you move these coops, you can catch a chicken under that back bar because they don't move the fastest. Well, Uncle Ken came up with this idea. We've just got a piece of conduit running along the back here. So when we pull that, that bumps into the chickens and moves them forward. If that hits them and runs them over, it's not going to hurt their legs or anything. So this has worked awesome. We've had this going about 4 or 5 days now, and that conduit bumps into those birds and keeps them moving along the ground. So if you have those issues in your chicken tractors, try that little piece of conduit. It does not take up a whole lot of room, so you're not losing much space in your tractor, but you're keeping your birds safe. So wanted to share that with you. We love the Cornish cross. We love the time it takes to grow them to a full bird. The flavor is amazing when fed the right food and raised the right way, where they're out in the sun and on fresh grass. All right, guys, we're at our next pen of pigs for our next question. If you didn't see our last video, we'll put that here. We moved our pigs over here into the woods, and the next question we get a lot: do you keep more than one boar in the same pen? Well, looking here, you can tell the answer to that question. Here is 5 boars together in the same pen, and that back pen that we were just at had 3 boars together. So yes, we do keep our boars together when we're not using them for breeding. We will shuffle through these guys and they will be taken out here in November-ish for some spring breeding. So we'll separate them and then we bring them back together. Yes, there's always a scuffle to see who's boss. And then this is what most of the days look like right here. So they work out their differences. It's never fun to watch. We don't enjoy it, but we do keep our boars together. We don't have enough room. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 8 boars. So to have 8 separate pens to keep the boars separate, then you'd have to keep somebody with them because the pigs don't do well by themselves. So we'd have to have someone with them, whether it be a barrow, if you didn't want to keep another boar with them. So that's why we keep our boars together. Hey, Shiloh. You're fitting right in. You were the new guy. Now everybody's kind of accepting of you. So we do keep our boars together. What do you got?
We do keep Kevin and Chubbs away because they fight.
Yeah, they're basically our two biggest boars. So between Kevin and Chubbs, I'll put his picture up here. We try to keep them separate. So we do. Oh, look at this daddy longleg catching a ride on Kev. Ew. Beep. So anyway, we do keep our 2 biggest separated because when they're about the same size, that's when you'll get your bigger fights. And we don't ever like to see our animals get hurt from fighting each other, but that is part of life here. Shiloh, that's your brother. Why is he being mean to you? What are you doing, Ryder? So anyway, yes, we do keep our boars together. After a couple days, they figure everything out and life is good. right, guys, we're walking up to our girl pen who we've put in the woods, one of our girl pens, for our last couple questions. I hope these have helped you guys. So here's the last two questions that we get quite often. Let's start with the easy one. Well, they're both kind of easy for us, but the first one, what are those shelters that you roll around your farm and where do you get them? Well, guys, we call those pigloos, and they are basically just big water stock tanks or liquid stock tanks. And we used to get them at Tractor Supply. They would run around $500. Now they are almost more than double that. So we like them just because it's super easy to move around. We pick them up, roll them, and move them to the next spot. So they're just water stock tanks. This is an 1,100 gallon. Some people done 550s. So you can do a little bit smaller. I'm pretty sure, yes, it is the 1,100 gallon. But we've got 6 females, pretty much full grown in here, and they fit in there pretty well. I probably wouldn't want to do any more than that. But that is what they are. Water stock tanks, Tractor Supply. Like I said, when we got them, they were around $500, which for us, I mean, if you thought about wood prices and metal and how heavy it was to move other housing, this was a no-brainer for us. So it was a little expensive up front, but I mean, we've had them for probably about 3 years now, and there's no cracks in them. They've held up really well, and they have a dry floor in the winter. That was the big thing about them that we liked, besides the ease of moving them. And the last question we get all the time, why coony pigs? Well, guys, I did a video on that a little while back. I'll post that right here. You can check out that video. But the short answer is why not? The only reason why you may not want to raise coonies is because if you're doing for meat, they take a lot longer than a feeder pig. But other than that, they're gentle. They're easy on your land. They don't really root. What do you got?
They're a little bit smaller than normal pigs and a lot more friendly.
Yeah, they're a little bit smaller, and we like that because we don't want a 400 or 500 pound pig to be trying to move around or to even put in the freezer. So the only downfall, like I said, is probably the amount of time it takes to get to butcher weight, which is 18 months. And we've got a small meat herd started. This is not the meat herd. These are the mamas that we have just weaned. And so why do we raise them? They're easy on the land. We love the way they look. Some people think they're ugly. We love them. Our kids are kind of bougie pig people. When they see a real pig with a long snout, they're like, ew, look at that pig. So that's why we raise the coonies. They're easy for a small family. We don't worry when the kids are out here. We've had some dumb comments about, we don't let our kids go out with the pigs, the boar pen by themselves. But when they're out here, I mean, we're out here, we aren't worried that the pigs are going to attack our children. I know they possibly could, but we've never had that issue. So another reason we love them. But anyway, I think that answers most of the questions. If you guys ever have a question, please don't hesitate to ask. We've been thinking and mulling over, maybe we should do some live videos where people can just ask questions. We can walk around and show you the answers. We obviously don't know everything. We're still learning every day as we go. We still feel like newbies as we raise these chickens and pigs and donkeys, and there's a lot of things we don't know, but we learning as we go, and when we make mistakes, we change things and make them better. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it answers your questions. If you guys haven't already,
make sure you like, subscribe, check us out on Instagram and also Facebook, and don't forget to make the change.
All right, guys, we'll see you on the next video.